So I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 since the beta clear back in October of 2017. And since then, this game has seen a number of ups and downs. We all know about its initial launch and the loot boxes, and the whole internet was up in storms about what EA was trying to do with their Star Wars game. And I think the game's come a long way. So in this video, I want to go over the top 10 things that I love about Star Wars Battlefront 2. And then the video following up to this one will be the top 10 things I hate about Star Wars Battlefront 2. That way I can give a little bit of constructive criticism. But in this video, I just want to focus on the positive things. I just want to go over everything that I absolutely love about this game. So these aren't in any particular order. These are just 10 things that I enjoy. I don't necessarily love these things more or less than the other things on this list, so don't take this as like a ranking video. So these are just 10 things based off of my personal opinion. If you guys do not agree with this list, that's completely fine. These are just the things that I personally like. So to start off this list, I have the reinforcements, but specifically the Clone Commando. Now I really like the design choice of reinforcements. I think DICE is onto something really good here. I love the idea of having heroes, and then you have like a little mini hero, which is just in between the actual heroes and the base infantry. So I just love the idea of not spending the full amount of battle points, but half the battle points, and you can be a super battle droid or a droideka or just something that's better than the base infantry. I just think that's great. But the thing that I love the most that they added is the Clone Commandos, because I mean the Clone Commandos have been my favorite class of clones since clear back to when the Republic Commando video game came out. I played that so much as a kid. I loved that Star Wars game, and I just love the look, the design, and just the thought of there being like this special ops, like Navy SEAL type clone. I just really love that idea, and I'm so happy that they brought this to Battlefront and I can play with them all the time. I get to see them in updated graphics, and I just feel like a badass every time I choose one. So I just love the Clone Commandos. And then second on this list, this is pretty broad, but it is the graphics. Now I'm going to include the sound design in this as well. I'm just going to group them up together. I think the sound in this game and the look of this game is just phenomenal. This game's been out for 2 years and it still holds up to most video games. You can play this on Xbox or PlayStation. It still looks great. Obviously it's going to look even better on PC, and it's just beautiful. The lighting, the space maps look phenomenal. The explosions, the lasers, the lightsabers, the little tiny fine details that this game has, combined with the sound, like when you're inside of bubble shields or you hear imploders or whatever it may be. They just did a great job of making it look and sound just like Star Wars. Like, you're not going to find another experience out there to make you feel like you're in Star Wars than you do in this game. So they captured that perfectly. The Frostbite engine does a really good job of capturing the graphics, and the photorealistic part of it is just phenomenal. Now the Frostbite engine may lack in some other areas, but it does get the graphics right. And then this kind of leads into the next point, which is the feel of Star Wars. Now it looks and sounds like Star Wars, but it also plays like Star Wars. And what I mean by that is, like, just when you play as a droid, you feel like you're a droid. I think it has something to do with just like the atmosphere, the level designs, the character models, the emotes, the voice lines, the announcers, like everything they've put into this game, all the little bits and pieces, when you put them all together, I mean, it feels like Star Wars. They could have easily just made any first-person shooter and just slapped a Star Wars skin on it, but you can tell they really take their time and effort and want this game to be as good as possible. And you can tell that all the developers really, really love Star Wars. There's all like the lore that's put into this game. There's the Easter eggs that are put into this game. Like there's tons of stuff. Like when you play a World War II game, you want it to feel as much like World War II as possible. Or when you play like a medieval game, you want everything to feel like medieval timesy. So with this game, it feels just like Star Wars. There's no cooler feeling than when you're in like a hallway and you're kicking butt and then suddenly Darth Vader shows up. So overall, I think this is just molded into be a really good Star Wars experience. Which this also leads into the next point, which is the likeness of all the heroes. I think this kind of ties in with the overall feel of Star Wars, but the heroes feel like heroes. Like when I pick Obi-Wan, I feel like I'm Obi-Wan. His voice lines, his individual abilities, They could have just made copy paste of every single hero and villain. Like with the original Battlefront 2, they just had generic abilities like force push, saber throw, choke. Now they tried to make the abilities fit the characters that would have them back in the original Battlefront 2, but it was still like force push was the same no matter what character. Saber throw was still a saber throw. In this version of Battlefront 2, every single character is different. Even if you have two characters with a force push, Obi-Wan's force push is different than Luke's force push. Kylo's pull is different than Anakin's pull. They all have their unique individual abilities which go along with what the characters could do in like the movies. So anytime I pick any of these heroes, if I pick Count Dooku, I feel like I'm unique from every other hero and villain. I'm Count Dooku. I have his abilities, I have his strengths and his weaknesses, and I think that's just awesome. And you can crap on the emotes and stuff all you want, but I think that adds to the feel. Like when you have Obi-Wan and he says hello there, or when you have Grievous doing something as simple as coughing, those emotes add to those characters and make them feel unique from one another. So I really love the design of all the heroes. They look great, they sound great, they feel great. Now I'm not talking about the balancing of the heroes, I'm just talking about how they actually play. And when I pick Darth Vader, I actually feel like I'm Darth Vader, which is awesome. And then up next is a fairly simple one, but it is the Starfighter controls. Criterion were the ones that made the Starfighter assault modes and stuff, and they did a lot of the Starfighter controls. They completely revamped it from Battlefront 2015's controls, and they just feel great. I love the way that the Starfighters handle. It could be in Galactic Assault, it can be in Starfighter Assault, like you name it, they feel and fly just like a ship should. You could do like really amazing maneuvers, you can dogfight, you can fly in and out of tight quarters, depending on the ship size. And then first person is a completely different story. It just feels like you're inside that cockpit. And I think the only way you could make it better is if everybody had VR headsets and you could just literally be in the cockpit and see everything. That would be awesome. I think they really nailed the Starfighter controls in this game, and I think it's a big improvement from the previous game. And then number 6 on this list is that DICE actually listens to feedback. There has been a number of different quality of life changes throughout the course of this game. Things from character buffs and nerfs. Individual heroes have been nerfed or buffed depending on how strong or weak they are. They completely changed Boba Fett's jetpack. They've changed star cards. They completely revamped the whole progression system. They got rid of loot boxes. They made it so every single hero gets health on kill, when before it was stuck to a star card, which limited your loadout. So when the community has a problem, DICE actually listens because they want to make the game better. There's been a number of game-breaking bugs that have happened in this game, like the explosive shot glitch, the heavy supercharged sentry, Palpatine shocking through walls, and they always try their best to fix these problems. They've added multiple events. They've added double XP on Wednesdays. They've added triple XP. They have like different events for different modes, like reinforcement events and heroes costing less battle points. So DICE has done a really good job of listening to player feedback since the game's release, and they've done a complete 180, and I really appreciate that. And then on to number 7, kind of goes with the DICE listening to feedback thing, and it's all the skins that we've gotten so far. They've added tons of options, like the Clone Commandos have skins, the Droidicas, the BX droids, all the clone troopers. There's tons of clone skins. You have phase 1 and phase 2. You can choose your skins based off of what map you're on if you want to do that. You can make your clone look however you want him to. Plus there's all the skins that came at default. You have just all the normal human skins. You have a few alien skins thrown in there. All the hero and villain skins. Obi-Wan and Dooku and Grievous and Anakin and Kylo and Rey. And like there's tons of hero skins that have been added to this game. They listened to feedback and added multiple Luke skins because people wanted to see more Luke skins. So them adding all these skins to the game really gave this game a lot of extra life, in my opinion, because it gives you something to grind for. If you see a really cool skin, there's no better feeling than saving up hundreds and hundreds of credits after tons of matches and then finally being able to get that skin that you want. That right there is the true sense of pride and accomplishment. If you can save up 80,000 credits to get a legendary skin, you feel really cool when you unlock it. You feel like you actually earn something. So I think that's great. So going on to 8 is the map variety. I appreciate just how many maps are actually in this game. Between all the starfighter modes, the individual small heroes versus villains modes, the blast maps, and then the large scale maps like in Capital Supremacy and in Galactic Assault. And then some of these maps have different variations, like the blast version of Indoor is just a small chunk of the Galactic Assault Indoor. And there's tons of different combos that they've done with these maps. I mean, you have iconic maps like Hoth and Indoor, and then you've got Naboo and Kashyyyk. They have really gone all out with all the different maps in this game, especially compared to the launch of Battlefront 2015. It had like 4, maybe 5 Walker Assault maps, and then a couple small maps for heroes versus villains. So this game has really gone all out with the maps. Now, it's gotten a little bit stale for someone like me that's been playing for as long as I have, but if there wasn't as many maps, then I think this game would be really, really stale. So I am grateful that you can at least have prequel era maps, original trilogy maps, and sequel trilogy maps. Like, there's a lot to choose from, and I think that's great. And then for number 9, we have the communication improvements. When this game launched, the communication from EA and DICE was just abysmal. It was absolutely horrible. We went like 6 months without having any clue as to what they were adding to the game whatsoever. Any questions we had just didn't get answered. But they've done a complete 180. They've actually added community managers and community team members. They added Ben Walk, which is the community manager here, and he answers tons of questions. The developers are more active from time to time on Twitter answering questions. For the most part, if you have a question, it normally gets answered in some way, shape, or form. Now, they could always make more and more improvements to the communication. I don't think it's perfect yet, but it has improved by miles. And I love that they're active on Reddit, they're active on Twitter, they're active in the Discord. Like, if you need to get a hold of somebody for whatever reason, they're really understanding, and I really appreciate just how much work that they do and how much effort they've put towards communicating with the player base now. It makes a big difference. When the developers actually answer questions and communicate with the players, it makes everybody happy. And then the final thing on this list is the comeback story. I love that this game was able to make a comeback. They could have easily just taken our money and had the loot box problem, and then the game could have just failed and died right there. They would have sold like 10 million copies at launch, and then that would have been it. They could have just given the promised DLC. They could have ended it at the solo season, and then that would have been it. But that's not what happened. They kept going and pushing and overcoming these obstacles, and they had the complete revamp of the progression. They got rid of the loot boxes. They've added multiple heroes. They've added all these new skins. They have the Celebration Edition. They've added multiple reinforcements. This game has had a complete 180. When it comes to comeback stories for video games, I normally think of 2 games. I think of No Man's Sky, and I think of Battlefront 2. They both promised things initially, and they both failed to meet those expectations. They did something scummy, it made the players mad, but then they went out and they proved that they wanted to make their game better. And I've hated EA for years for what they've done to some of my favorite franchises, like Star Wars, Mass Effect, Battlefield, like you name it, EA has screwed something up. But with this game, I feel that they got it right. There's no crazy over-the-top microtransactions. All the DLC's free, so you don't have to worry about Season Pass. They haven't done anything scummy with this game. They have earned my respect when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront 2. So those are the 10 things that really stand out to me for Star Wars Battlefront 2. There's obviously some more things I could name off, but I don't want this video to be too long. But I think those 10 things kind of do a good summary of everything that I love about this game. And yeah, I think it's a great game. If you guys have yet to play it, I highly recommend you pick it up. And then if you are a returning player, now is a great time to come back to the game. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys love about this game down in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. It helps me out, helps grow the channel, and helps show my videos to more people in the algorithm. And then if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to follow me on all social media at SwanyPlaysGames, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then be sure to join the Discord. All those links are found in the description down below. And that's going to do it for me, guys, and I will talk to you all in the next video.
We would be honored if you would join us. You cannot resist